All right, Yuri, you can go on, please.
Okay. I'll just share my screen. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our M365 series. We're going to be continuing from where we stopped the previous week. So I'm your moderator for today again. My name is Nure. I'm a SharePoint subject matter expert. Um, so our speaker for today is Joshua and Olajumoke. So Joshua is a project manager and a developer, M365 solution architect, technical trainer, modern workspace engineer that offers professional challenges, utilizing interpersonal skills, excellent time management, and problem-solving skills. He is organized and dependable, very successful at managing multiple priorities with a positive attitude. So quickly, the housekeeping rules. This session will be recorded and will be made available for future viewing. Please mute your microphone when you are not talking. Pen down your questions until the Q&A session. You can follow us on our Twitter page, subscribe to our YouTube channels, and also fill the feedback forms. I would put the links on the chat so you can always refer back to them. So I would hand over to Joshua to take over from here, and then we would see again during the Q&A. So Joshua, over to you.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being on this session again today. Last week, we looked at a couple of things, licensing, users in Office 365, and then the groups. Yeah, it was kind of choked up, right? A lot of information was passed. And then today we would quickly look at some of the things we looked at last session in more detail, or in detail rather, and then we would go into the Q&A session, right? So I'll be sharing my screen now. I'll put up my camera and then share my screen. Okay, please confirm if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Your screen.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Okay, so last week we looked at like I said, licensing, users in Office 365, and then groups in Office 365 or Microsoft 365. So quickly, I think we still recall how to get to this place, right? To this to the admin portal. The steps to get to the admin portal. You open up a browser. In the URL part, you type in office.com and then sign in with your Office 365 credentials. And then the one that has admin privilege. Yeah. And then you click on the admin. You get this page. There's a page you get first. And then you click on admin, the admin here. It opens up the Office 365 or Microsoft 365 admin portal. Right. So quickly, I would like us to just run through billing, right? Then users, will look at how to add users through the Microsoft 365 portal. Yeah, that's one way which we looked at last week. We would also look at how to add users to the portal through using a template, and then we would look at how to add users functions also before end of today's session. So quickly, you sign in to the admin portal, right? You have the menu on the left hand side of the page, and then you have links. Yeah, these menus link to other important pages, other, yeah, where you can carry out different or diverse configurations in Microsoft 365. So for the billing, yeah, the billing part or aspect of Microsoft 365, it's where you pay for your subscriptions. You get different types of subscriptions for different purposes, right, on Microsoft 365. Yeah, so this is where everything is carried out. And then under the billing menu, we have different or other menus. We have purchase services, your product, licenses, bills and payment, billing account, payment method, billing notifications, right? So for the purchase services, the first submenu, that's where you go into to search or look for any subscription you want, right? Any subscription you want to get. Let's say you want to use Teams voice call, you can get it here. You want Exchange Online license, you can get it from here. You want Planner license, also, yeah, license, you get it from here. Any license or subscription you want, yeah, this is where you purchase those subscriptions from. Either you can, like I said last week, you can try some of them out for free for 30 days, and before you pay for them. Yeah, Microsoft gives that opportunity to try out some of these subscriptions to have a feel of it before you now commit to payment, right? Yeah, so this is where the subscriptions are. So as you can see here, we have the subscriptions page with different categories. You can view different categories. You can look at Microsoft 365, 365 business apps. You can get subscriptions based on, like I said, based on what you want, right? For example, you want anything on, you want to collaborate and communicate using Microsoft Teams, you can select this category to filter out the license or subscription you want. Yeah, you also have subscriptions for security and identity, for Power BI, and for Windows 365, and other services. You can also get add-ons. Yeah? So add-ons are like additional subscriptions you get for a particular service. I remember before now we used to have what we call the Microsoft Business Voice. Yeah? That comprises of three other subscriptions. So you can get an add-on. Maybe you want to let's look at it. Yeah, so maybe you want to you have Microsoft 365 business standard, and you need an enterprise security mobility license. Yeah, you can get them here. Or you need to perform some certain functions that requires you to have the Azure Active Directory P1 license. So these are add-ons that you can get for some of the subscriptions you already have, right? So like the name implies, it's an add-on to an already existing subscription you have. So for collaboration also, you can see different add-ons you can get for other subscriptions. So this is, like I said, this is where you get the subscription, right? So let's assume we don't have, we need a subscription that allows us to download Microsoft 365 apps, and then other functions. Yeah. So let's see, we want to, I'll just carry us through the process. Yeah. And then let's say we want the Microsoft 365 Business Premium. All I need to do is to click on details. Yeah. And then it brings up this page. It brings up this page where you can select the number or the quantity of licenses you have. So here I have one. It means I can only assign, if I get just one, it means I can only assign this subscription to a single user account in Microsoft 365. And then if I'm paying per month, this is the amount I'm going to pay per month, which is $22 per one license per month. So if I increase this to 2, it means I'm going to pay 22 times 2, which is 44. As you can see, it increases here. Yeah. If I increase it to 3, it increases to 66. However, if I decide to say, let's go back to 1, and I decide to select, I want to pay on a yearly basis, right? And then this is how much I pay for one license. If I increase this to, let's say, 10, depending on the number of people I have in my organization, I pay $2,640. When I'm satisfied with the settings here, if I'm to pay per month or per year, and the number of licenses I want to get for a number of users, I click on buy. So I can start free trial. Let's see if I can see use free trial here. So like I said, you can try out the free trial first, um, to um, to see or use, yeah, to basically use the subscription. So I'm not sure I'm able to do this because let me see, my subscription is in the US. Yeah, so a text message would have to be my number. So yep. Let me quickly show you like this. Okay, so let me see where my subscription, my tenant rather, my Office 365 tenant is located. Right, so I can, maybe I'm done testing, I've tested this out, I've tried this out rather, this subscription, I can decide to pay. I click on pay. Yeah, and then it takes me to a page where I need to set up my payment method, the card I want to use, the country where the card is located should be by default should be by default should be the country where your tenant is located. However, sometimes we've had situations where I'm in the US, right? And then however the card is a card for you. Right? There is a way Microsoft does that before. You can use a UK card for a tenant, an Office 365 tenant that is located in the US. So apologies, I don't know why this is dragging. Let me try something. I hope you guys can still hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you, Josh.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I'm just waiting for this to come up, and then so while wait for this, right? So let's use this time to cover up. So other sub menus like the product, your product here is where you see all the licenses, all the subscriptions you have purchased, right? Let's say the one we're trying to get now, the Microsoft 365 Business Premium. This is where they are listed here. Okay, let me quickly show you this, right? Here. Still not showing. Okay, so there are different ways you could actually check for what I'm trying to check for, right? Different ways you can. I'm trying to check for. I want to show you where you can see where your Office 365 tenant is located. So there are different ways you can do that. So you can either do that through the billing when you're trying to pay for something, it shows you, or you can even do that from active users and the likes. So let me close this. Okay, so let's check here quickly. Let me see. So these are some of the things you would face. You need to know actually while using Microsoft 365. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so can you see the location here? The US. So you can check that through here too. So this is one method. The method is through the billings. Okay, so let's quickly forge
It's
ahead,
actually
right?
the sorry, where you went before, under organization setting, you can actually see it under data location. I actually wanted to point
Yeah.
out that yes, data
Okay.
location. That yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True, guys. So you can actually see through here too. Let's see. So you can see data location gives you more information, right, about your tenant. It shows where your Exchange data is being hosted. It shows where your SharePoint data is being hosted. It shows where your Microsoft Teams data is being hosted. And guys, you can see some tenant that this um, data locations are kind of different, right? Depending. So some can be hosted in Europe, and then some can be, I think South Africa also has, in Africa has a data location too. Yeah, you can do that from here too. Thanks, MG. Yes, so quickly, so when I try to check out, right, when I try to buy the license, the Microsoft 365 subscription, Microsoft 365 Business Premium subscription, I try to um purchase, right? So I get this page where I need to update my organization profile, right? And also you can also check your the country from here to country region. You see it's automatically highlighted and grayed out. Yeah, so you can add your phone number, correct email address that's registered on your Microsoft 365 tenant. You fill this appropriately, right? And then you follow the prompt, save and follow the prompt to purchase um, the 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 subscription. When you save from here, then you see here becomes active. When all this the information needed here in asterisk are filled out, here becomes active to place order, and here also becomes active to add to order, right? And then you follow the prompt to key in your key card, your credit card details, right? Please note while you're doing this, it needs to be done confidentially. You don't need to share your credit card details with anyone. and then you proceed with the payment. Okay, so let's quickly go back to your product. Yeah, so your product is where all the subscription you purchased or the ones you've tried or you are trying at the moment are listed. So this is where you see all the subscriptions with additional information about number of licenses you have, the one you've assigned, yeah, and the one you purchased, and then yeah, the one you purchased and if they are active or not. Yeah. So it also shows you information about what method situated, right? And then you can add other columns. Yeah, depending on what you want. You can check for available licenses. You can check for select the expiration date, try to display the expiration date, select this, and then select the purchase date and save. So doing that adds these columns here with other information. So here is where the license page is where you see other information about the subscription you purchase, the subscription you have here, and then the number of available licenses, the ones that are assigned already, and then you can also check here, make some requests that if you have made any requests in time past, it shows here, and then you can turn on these settings basically. This allows you to it saves you time and allows you to claim some products. So there are some products that Microsoft rolls out, and then based on subscription, based on the location where you are, you can claim some of these subscriptions. Yeah. So bills and payment is where you would see your invoices. So if you have made payment for a subscription, an invoice is sent to you. Yeah. So an invoice is sent the day you, for example, you purchase a subscription today. Um, um, the a subscription is sent to you on the anniversary date. Yeah, that's the day you purchase the subscription plus one. So an invoice should be sent to you that's tomorrow. So let's say you purchase today, and then you purchased a monthly subscription. So today is today is 4th, right? So you should get your invoice on the 5th of April. Yeah. So payment method, this is where you add the payment method you want to use. You want to use credit card, the type of credit card you want to use, and then you add all the information you see. You also fill some of this information here on this page when you click on this, right? It should bring up scrolling. Yeah, so it should bring up this page where you input the credit card, the card number, security code, expiration date, and the likes. This is where you do that. Remember, I was trying to show you something the other time. You can also check for the country where your tenant is located here. Yeah. So for the billing information, right? This is where the information you fill from the previous menu, which is the payment and method, gets populated here, right? You get to see information about your payment method here, your card with some information erased or asterisk is shown here. Your contact info and other settings too are shown here. Yeah, so quickly billing accounts. This is where you kind of manage your billing relationship with either Microsoft, that if you are getting your subscription directly from Microsoft or through a partner, right? This is where this is being managed from. Yeah, you can reach out to Microsoft representatives. Yeah, so depending on where you are located, some persons reach out to a Microsoft vendor in their locality or environment to set up a Microsoft 365 account for them, and this is where everything is actually managed from. So payment method, we've seen this under the bills and payment. This is where you add your credit card and the payment, the method through which you want to pay, right? And then notification, this is where you edit notification settings, where you want notification of your billing information to be sent to, and then um, those who can receive emails on emails for information based on your billing, everything about billing. Yeah, you get information. You can carry out the settings here. You can edit notification. You can say to not allow PDF, not to attach PDF while this information is being sent to you. You can select your language and the likes. Okay, so that being said, we are done with billing, right? I believe we have seen how to manage our subscriptions, how to purchase our subscriptions, how to go about updating our billing information, and how to add our credit cards, payment methods, and the likes. So quickly, we would proceed to the next one, in detail, which is users, users, basically how to add users to Microsoft 365, either through the normal GUI portal, which is this one, through the normal conventional way, or you can use templates to add users into Office 365 or Microsoft 365. You can use PowerShell to do that. Quickly, we would look at the three methods. Yeah. Last week we looked at this first method, which we would look at again today. All you need to do is navigate to your admin portal, right? Click on users, click on active users, which is the first sub menu. So all you need to do is to click on add user. So let's say I want to add a user. Let me see. Here. Let me use someone's name. Okay, so I would use Happiness Solomon. Okay. All right. First name, I would say Happiness Solomon. Last name. Here, if I click here, it automatically picks this name. Right. I can decide to change it to, let's say, Happy. And then here, I can decide to give it whatsoever name depending on the convention, the naming convention in your organization. So some organizations name or naming convention is first name dot last name. Some is last name dot first name. Some is just any name you want. So for my organization, I would say last name dot first name, which is Happiness, and then I select the domain. Remember last week we spoke about the default domain that comes with when you open an Office 365 tenant. Yeah, so this is the one I have here. You can also add your custom domain. Yeah, we would come to that. Let's not jump. So when you have a custom domain added to your tenant, let's say at AJ and Sons Limited, or at ajandsonslimited.com. If it's added here, it gets added to the drop down here, and I select that. Yeah, so I don't want this to automatically create a password for me, so I leave it blank. I don't want this user to change password on their first attempt to log in. I don't want to send this the credentials to the user. However, I can decide to automatically create a password for this user. And then this is done automatically by the system. And then I also require that this user change his or her password on the first time they try to log in with these credentials to the Microsoft 365 tenant. And then I can decide to also send the details of what I'm creating here to the user. I can change this and say happiness solomon at gmail.com. So this credential, yeah, the username, and then the password that's automatically created is sent to this account. Assuming this user is a new user that has been employed into my organization, yeah, and this is the email through which we've been communicating through the interview process and the likes. So, and this user gets this in their inbox, and then they are allowed to change their password, and then set up their Microsoft 365 account. So this is where, yeah, this is where I get to select the subscription I purchased from this previous um, um, from what we looked at previously, right? So here all the subscriptions I have are listed, and then I decide to select anyone I want, depending on what I want the user to do for me, right? If I want the user just to use just Power Automate, I can give the user this license, assign this license to this subscription to this user. Or if I want the user to use, let's say, Teams and other features that comes with Teams, I can also assign this license to the user. And then this is where I um I can either create this user without a license at all, and then I can go back later and then assign a suitable license. Maybe I don't have the license yet. I can just create this user and then purchase the license later on, then come back and assign that subscription to the user. Sorry, you hear me using license and subscription interchangeably, right? They're actually different. Subscription is the whole package, and the license um, um, is what you assign to a user. So for example, we have this subscription here, Microsoft 365 Power Automate. However, I have 10,000 licenses. That is I can assign this subscription to 10,000 users. So they are actually different. Yeah. So here I would like to assign this subscriptions to this user, right? And then I click on next. So here, this page is where I set the privileges I want this user to have, right? So as you can see, it's optional. You can decide to set them, you can decide not to set them. So I can come here and then say, I want this user just to be a user. I don't want this user to have any admin privilege. However, if I want this user to perform some admin privileges, I can come here, select this, and then either give the user any of the um, admin privilege here. But I don't want this user to have that, right? I click on next, and then I have a summary of everything I've done from the very beginning. The name, this is the username, and then the email is automatically generated, and then the location, the licenses and subscription is assigned to this user. And then let me go back. So here, right, profile info. I can decide to fill up this information. Let's say this person is um, solution architect, right? I can fill this up here, or this can be done in the Azure Active Directory, and then this is, yeah, this can be done also in Azure Active Directory. If I like, I leave it blank, and then do this later, like I told you earlier, or I showed you earlier. This settings is optional. Let's click next, and then let's finish up. So we're going to see that this user is added to um, my tenant, my organization, my Microsoft 365 organization, right? So as you can see, it's adding user here. So this user is added successfully. I can see the details because I'm an admin. I can see the password that was automatically generated. And then I can also still copy this and then forward to the user via email, right? And then, yeah, and then I can try to add another user and then I close. So this is how you add a user to Microsoft 365. So let's check if this user is here. Happiness Solomon. I don't see it. Yeah, happy display name. This is it. So we have Happiness Solomon here. We have the display name, which is happy. Remember, I changed it, right? And then we have the username, and then we can also carry out a lot of settings here. Yeah, we can decide to reset the password from here. I can decide to block this user from signing in. I can decide to delete this user. So when you delete a user in okay, we'll come to that. Yeah, I can decide to give this user, assign another subscription to this user. I can decide to say, okay, I have this subscription assigned to this user. However, I don't want them to use take out Exchange Online. If I take this out, it means this user cannot send emails or receive emails, right? I can decide to say I can decide to say I don't want this user to be able to use Office on the web. I can decide to say I don't want this user to use SharePoint. I just want this user to use To Do, that's all, or Yammer, or let's say just the Power Automate, Power Apps. I can check all these other things and then I save. Yeah, it gets saved. Saving. Quickly. Okay, so this is saved, right? So for mails, I might not see anything here. I'm seeing something here because if you remember, Exchange Online license was checked before. So a mailbox was being prepared for this account. So let's refresh to see because we do not have, yeah, so this user does not have an Exchange Online license. So a mailbox shouldn't be provisioned for this user. So this user cannot send nor receive emails. So and this user OneDrive is also prepared, I think with 5 gig storage space for this user, right? I can decide to say, okay, I want to look at this user's OneDrive and the content in this user's OneDrive as an admin. Maybe an investigation is going on, and then I need to check what this user has in his OneDrive, right? So I can do that here. This is being prepared for this user. So let me quickly check for another one as this. Let me see if this is provisioned for this user. So I can see how to quickly look at that. So I come to OneDrive. So it prepares a link for me. Yeah. So all I need to do is to create link files and then create a link through which I can view this user's OneDrive as an admin. Yep. So this is it. You can see the files shared with or shared or the files the user shared. Yeah. Okay. So that's that about adding user through the add a user pane here in the Microsoft 365. So let's add a user through a template. Yeah. So I come here. Can you see this next to add a user? I have add user using a template. I select. So if I have a template before now, this is a test. I can decide to manage my template. Yeah. Here I can decide to manage my template. It should show my test template here. I can decide to add a template from here. Yeah, I can do that from here and then just select the template when I want to use a template to add. However, I want to do it directly from here. So I click on this, I click on add template. It brings me to the same page. Guys, are you seeing what I'm saying? Yeah, I come here, manage template. I click on add template. It brings me to this page. So the same way I go through user template, add template. Yeah. So let's say session let me give it a name, M365 community session classes. All right, so I can decide to copy this and just maybe give it description, it's recommended, or I decide to leave it blank. And then I can decide to not make this template available to other admins. This template should just be available to just me, myself alone, right? But I want it to be available to other admins. So I click on next, and then I select my domain, right? So if I have ajandsonslimited.com, it gets listed here. And then I can say I want this template to automatically generate a password for all the users that will be added through this template. Yeah, I can decide to create a password for them, and then I can say I want these users, the user that will be added through this template to change their password. Remember what we did in the first instance, right? I can do that here too. So let me just select automatically generate password. So I click on next, select the subscription I want for them. Yeah. And then I decide that I don't want them to use Exchange Online. I don't want them to use Teams. I don't want them to use Teams. I don't want them to use Office apps. I don't want them to use SharePoint. So I click on next. So for the roles, I want them to just be a user, no admin privilege at all. And then this info here, this would be filled out for, let's say, solution architect, Azure, Sweden. Yep. Country. Let's use United States. And I click on next. Finish. So this template is added. So all I need to go to do now is I go here. I have two. Can you see this? I have two the two templates here, the one I just created, right? So I can come here. Sorry. So that's how to create a template, yeah. And then I have this. Let me use this. So I have this template here, right? So if I want to add a user using this template, all I need to do is click on user template, Microsoft 365, and then add user. So let me see another name here. Quickly, Wasu. Let me use Wasu. Wasu. Adebayo. Display name. Let's see. Wasiboy. And then I say adebayo.wasu. So can you see this? I'm using this template to create this user. I want everything to be created automatically. I've done this. Everything has been set here. All I need to do is to click on add user. So let's see what happens. This user gets added. So let's check this user. Let's check for this user. Wasu should be large at the bottom. Wasi boy. Yeah. Let me refresh. Where's my refresh button? Okay. I'll refresh here. Okay, so I have Wasibo here, right? So let's click on this user. Let's see the difference. Let's see something quickly. So this user Yep. This user is added just like the other user, right? And then the licenses are already selected, the license I want from that template, or in that template rather. So it's selected automatically. And then everything is set. So that's how to add a user using a template. So quickly, the other method is to use PowerShell, right? So I have my PowerShell open here. So how did I get here, right? I just click on the start button, type PowerShell. I love using PowerShell ISC because it allows me to have these codes saved. At any time, I can always come back and then I can decide to click on a new tab, have my tab PowerShell script here, save it, and then I can always use that. You can also do that, right, through the other PowerShell, which is this. They're all the same thing actually. So ensure you always run them as admin. You can do that here. This is just where you just paste your script, and then you can write a script to save your script at the end. Yeah. Which is, you can also do something like start transcript, right? So this allows you to, as you can see, the transcript is saved to this location. So any PowerShell module I run here gets saved, right? Any PowerShell module I run here gets saved. At the end, if I'm done, I can say stop transcript, and then this gets saved. So I can view this location. Let me see. Okay. Let me see if I can locate that. So this is it. So it opens up everything that was saved, the PowerShell, type of PowerShell, the time, and then if I run any script, it should show me here. So the only script I ran was this to save it. Yeah, so it showed everything here. So quickly, let's add a user through PowerShell. So I have the PowerShell script already. I have my Azure Active Directory module installed. I have my MS Online module installed. I and this is just the script I used actually. So if you're using PowerShell for the first time, you would encounter some errors, yeah, some errors, and then the errors are actually self-explanatory, right? You can reach out for assistance when you encounter such, or you can search online. I remember the first time I did PowerShell, right? I was trying to help a user from the US, and I saw red. Like, let me show you an example. Let me type something here. Um, MS online dash dash dash. I saw something like this. On this one, the red is something else. MS online dash dash dash. So you can see this one is, the red is thicker than this other one. When I first saw the red, I was scared. Like, you need to understand the error first by MS Online. This time MS Online is not recognized. So why is not recognized? You search online. So it means maybe you need to install a module before this and the likes. Yeah, you encounter such errors. So let's go with this. I want to run this script one after the other. I can try to run it as a whole. I can try to run it line by line. Remember when you use QBasic then in those days? Yeah, it runs line by line. So I like this actually. So I have it already installed. So let's see. So it's running. Yeah, so this is done. Come here again. It's running. So let's see. Okay, let me connect to Azure. All right, so it means this is working. So let me sign in with my credential. My admin. Remember, anything you want to do with PowerShell, you need to use, or anything you want to do in the admin, you want to carry out an admin function, you have to use an account that has admin privilege, right? So for PowerShell 2, that's the same thing you do. You need to use an account that has admin privilege. Okay, cool. So let me put in my password. Okay, let's see what happens. Cool. So I'm signed in. So let me connect to MSO service. Prompts me again. Okay. Problem 597. All right. Okay, I'm signing. So I want to create a user. This is a script to create a user. Yeah, from the Microsoft 365 ad. Yeah, through Microsoft 365, you can actually create users through Azure Active Directory. Solomon, I believe I was taking care of that. So this is the script. So let me see. Let me see. Okay. The display name. The display name out is baby, and the first name which is okay. And then last name is Yemi. So the username should be yemi.okwe at me.com and then US. So this is what I want to use. I can decide to add another for license. You know the license in your organization, and then you can also do a lot of things you can do via PowerShell. So let's do this. Finish without a license, right? So I'm on this line. I can click anywhere. Let's see if the user gets added. So it's running. It's running. Running. Let's see. Just keep watching this here. Watch it. See what happens. Okay. As you can see here, it shows that this is running. I decided to stop the operation, but I don't want to do it. Taking a sheet of time. And some things, right? We'll get to that point. There are some things you can only do on via PowerShell. So I think there was a feature now that is being removed already in Excel Online portal, which is the creating of connector, right? However, you can use PowerShell to do that. So there are some things you can't do via GUI. And anything you do via GUI, if you're deleting a user, if you're doing anything that you know you're not sure, how you can take out everything. If you're not lucky, most times you're not able to recover. Yeah. So my user has been added. Yemi.okwe. So let's go back and see. Sorry. Yeah, let's go back here and see. Let's refresh. There should be a refresh button here. Let me uncheck this. Yeah, refresh. Refresh. I don't want to reload the whole page. I just want to, yeah. So let's see. We have yemi.okwe, so it should be at the bottom. Can you see it here, guys? So, and it's unlicensed. We have this user added here. So, seeing the three methods through which we can add users to Microsoft 365. Yeah. Quickly, I know our time is fast spent. We quickly talk about multi-factor authentication, right? This is an like the name implies, it's an additional security measure that is put in place by Microsoft, right, to secure your tenant. why I say tenant is because as an admin, if my account is compromised, the entire Office 365 account, Microsoft 365 tenant is compromised. I think one of the reasons why Microsoft is even removing the opportunity to create inbound connectors from the GUI is because most unauthorized users use that. I can create an inbound or an outbound connector to somewhere else, and then everything that has been done in your tenant, in your portal, I can monitor it, I can do an undo, I can purchase licenses, I can do whatever I want. So if an admin account is compromised, the organization's M365 is compromised. So you need to be very, very careful as an admin. So we always, sometimes another thing you should know is Microsoft 365 has what we call an AI kind of in it that learns a lot of things. For example, in Exchange Online, using Outlook to send emails, right? So let's say normally your system already knows how you send emails, right? So maybe on an average, you send emails per day. And all of a sudden, you started sending 50, 100. That's strange because over time the system has learned that you send only 10 emails per day, and all of a sudden the system would restrict you from sending emails and then block the account from sending emails. So you reach out to Microsoft, and then Microsoft will then check and say, okay, are you sure you're not sending these emails? They check for those, to check, basically go through the process of checking for a compromised account. Yeah. And then if everything is set and well, and anything that is not set is being rectified, yeah, then the account can be unblocked. So checking for that, the first thing we check for is that an admin account has multi-factor authentication. So you need to have that set up so that to prevent that's basically the what's invoked now, the modern authentication, right? So we are past the legacy way of signing in, which is the basic authentication using just your password. So we are now in the era of modern authentication, where you need to have an additional level of security for you to sign into your account. So that's just a bit about multi-factor authentication. Okay, so coming up. Um, yeah, so when I click on this, right, I have the page to set this up. I can do bulk update. I can decide to do this for just one user. As you can see, all of them, the status here is disabled for all these users. So let's see, for one of these users we just created, we have happiness. Want to create multi-factor authentication for this. So what I need to do is I can decide to manage user settings first. So I require that this selected user provide contact methods again. I can delete all app passwords. So one thing is certain when you enable multi-factor authentication, right? Some of these legacy systems, some systems that uses the legacy protocols would prompt you consciously which to password. Yeah. So what we usually do is to create an app password. Then when you input that password, so for that password is cached. So that app would not require you to impute, or will not require you to impute password continuously anymore. So I can decide to delete all existing ones, and then for all devices where the account is signed in or set up, I can decide to restore, ensure that multi-factor authentication is propagated throughout those accounts. Yeah, and I click on save. When I do this, right, this settings is being updated, and then I come back here to enable this user, to enable MFA for this user. Enable, so I can, let me open this link. While we do this, enable. So this enables MFA for this user. So as you can see, right, this is enabled, but it's not enforced. So sometimes there is a way we enforce this. If I don't want to enforce this directly from here, I just click on enforce. I can just tell you to open up an in private mode window, try to sign in again. Then this kind of automatically enforces the MFA. Sometimes it doesn't work. Some things just are weird, right? Which is not supposed to be. Normally it should work, but I can just enforce it. If I enforce it now, now as if this account is logged in anywhere, this is when it's been enforced, this automatically pushes the user out of the system and then tells this user to update his or her information based on the settings we had. Sorry, I have an issue here. So yeah, let me do that again. Let's see. Should enforce. So let's wait. Yeah. Okay, so this is enforced. If I select it again, still shows enforced, but you already saw that it said settings updated successfully rather. So this is good to go. This is how you update your multi-factor authentication. Lastly, guys, I'm sorry. Lastly, I just want to show you how to reset. You can reset your password for a user. Yeah, let's say for happy, I can click on happy, and then quickly, it brings up the page where I can carry out some changes for happy. Yeah, and yeah, I can reset the user from here. Like I said earlier, I can also block the user. So I can decide to delete this user. Let's do delete. If I delete this user, right, there's what we call, can we please mute? Okay. I can decide to delete this user, right? So if I delete this user, there's what we call the soft deleted state and the hard deleted state. So it means I can, after 30 days, I can't recover any data that is associated to this account. So if I delete this user, it goes to the soft deleted state, which means between 0 and 30 days or 1 and 30 days, I can still recover this user. I can restore this user back with all the detail, the data in it. But after 30 days, automatically the system purges that user off, which goes into the hard deleted state. And this user is not, or whatever data that's associated with that user cannot be recovered. So I'm deleting this user, and then we check the deleted state, and we are done, guys. Just one moment. This user is deleted. So if you check here, happy no longer appears here. Right? So let's check. Deleted, you see happy here. Yeah. Yeah, so this is happy. So because this is still within 30 days, that's why it shows here. After 30 days, this will no longer show here. Or I can decide to delete the user permanently, immediately. So if I want to restore the user, I can restore, and then I can decide to still delete from here, right? It's not showing delete from here. Okay, so I think we removed. I can do that from Azure Active Directory actually. Permanently purge the user from here. So I can leave the user to get to 30 days before it's been deleted if I don't want to restore this user. And then I can delete from Azure Active Directory. So why this comes up, thank you guys for your time, for listening here. Right. Really a wonderful session. Sorry, yeah, it's a lot of information to take in. Yeah, I hope you guys can also go back to the recordings and then play around with everything I showed you today. And then, guys, that's a starting point to you becoming a master or a professional in Microsoft 365. Thank you, guys. for your time. What to you, Yuri? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joshua. Thank you very much. Um, Wonderful session. So before we go over to the Q&A, I don't know if Olajumoke has anything for us today. Before we go over to the questions.
No, at all. Thank you, Joshua. That was quite very detailed and intense. Thank you so much. I do not have anything to add, except the audience have questions that I can assist with. Yeah, thank
Okay,
you,
great.
Yuri. Yeah.
Okay, so over to the house. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask. So you can just raise your hand and then we can pick it up from there. Okay, Joseph, you can unmute your mic and ask your question.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Well, Josh, thank you very much for the presentation. We appreciate it. It was wonderful. I want to ask a question that you talked about templates, that there are several ways of creating user in the normal route, then templates. Does it mean that templates, like the name implies, does it mean that it's like a manual or a sample one can use to create users? Or what is the importance of templates in this aspect when you are dealing with organization? That's my question.
All right. Thank you, Joseph. Right. Like you said, when you are dealing with you're in an organization, right? Let me share my screen again. To quickly answer this. So tell me when you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so in an organization, right, I can decide to the main reason, one of the reasons why we use template is because we already know how the organization works. Yeah, we have the IT department, the HR department, the another unit, right? So we can create templates based on that. So let's say we are creating a template for IT department. We know their roles, their functions, and then what they need to do and the license they need to have, right? So the licenses or the subscriptions an IT department requires it's not the same with what the HR department requires, right? So we can use template based on that. So if I'm creating, maybe we employed a new IT personnel. So instead of me going through the normal route of saying active users, then trying to select the subscription, try to fill out some of these things, right? Like, sorry, especially this part, selecting the subscription and then um, filling out the profile information, right? I can have this field in the template, the department, I know the job title, IT personnel, the department, IT department, the office where the person is located. All these things are done seamlessly with a template. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Solomon. Okay.
My second question. So is it possible to delete a tenant and maybe you lost some things, or you cannot log into your tenant again, and you decide that maybe you want to delete the tenant in order to create another one tenant for use?
So first, what did you
That
lose?
expire.
First, what did you lose? What did you lose?
I use my Gmail to create a
No, like
tenant.
what you said, for example, if you lost something. So the reason
As
I'm
in,
asking what
okay,
you lost
what,
is
what,
because
what I lose is that I have the tenant I was using before. I have a authenticator, a MFA authenticator on my phone that I used to connect with in order to enter into it. But I lost the phone. But the moment I changed the phone, I could not be able to access that particular tenant again. When I click on subscription to take me into the admin, I see that it will ask me that I should activate with my, what is it called, with my authenticator, factor authenticator on my Microsoft authenticator on my phone, in which I have downloaded a new authenticator, but to now connect to it to is a as in to scan with it in order to continue with it is a difficult issue, in which I have not been able to use my, it does not allow me to use my tenant for a while.
okay, thanks Joseph for the question, right? So basically what I would say is before you carry out you activate or you carry out such decisions, right? Deleting a tenant, I would advise you always reach out to Microsoft support. That's why we have them, right? And if you got your subscription through a partner, you can reach out to the partner and then they can assist you. They can check for you from the back end. You work with them as long as you're an admin on that system, right? And then you have the details that is required. They can assist you with that. And if they're not able to assist you based on some factors, they will tell you. Yeah, that's one. And secondly, yes, you can actually delete a tenant. So there are criteria for you need to fulfill. Let me get the document for us. So there are criteria you need to fulfill before you delete a tenant. First, you need to ensure that the custom domain is removed from the excuse me, is removed from the portal, from the system, right? And ensure that all your users are now back to using the default on Microsoft um, on Microsoft 365 domain. Then secondly, you need to ensure that you've canceled all your subscriptions. Yeah, I have deleted all the subscriptions. Yeah, you need to ensure that. And then after and you follow through the process, and then every other thing there are other criteria too that you need to ensure that you meet before these subscriptions are this tenant is deleted. So I would share my screen again quickly. I'll share the document with us. So you can see my screen, tell me. And this deletion is done actually in Azure Active Directory. Yeah. So we have the delete a tenant. So these are the steps. You need to prepare the organization. You pay, definitely you need to pay off all outstanding invoices and amounts that is due and overdue before you can delete. And let me tell you, you think, okay, it's Microsoft, they're a big corporation, you want to owe them, right? Especially when you're using, I think, invoice pay. You want to owe them, you can go scot-free. I'm sorry to burst your bubbles. You cannot hide anywhere. They will send people to look for you. So you need to pay for this. I need to pay off this. So also one important information is you need to delete all users except the global administrator who will delete and allow only one user. So before you delete, like I said, delete the custom domain, delete every other user, and allow only the administrator that would delete the tenant. Then no applications, no multi-factor authenticator, no subscriptions. You have deleted everything. Then you can proceed with the steps. Follow the steps here until you get to the part where you delete subscriptions too, until the part where the tenant gets deleted automatically by itself. So delete itself all these products, you have to go. So there are some subscriptions that you don't even know how you got them, right? There are situations where I remember I worked with a user, I think from UAE. It took us, as simple as delete a tenant, right? It took us 379 days. This was escalated to me then. It was escalated to the next level, to the highest level of support in Microsoft for 379 days. Because there are some subscriptions that, even to the product team, there are some things that was something that was very peculiar with that tenant that took a while for the commerce guys to even take out that subscription. Immediately that subscription was taken out, the tenant got deleted. So yeah, you can delete a tenant. So let me share this document with us. Yeah, thanks, Suleiman.
Can I
Sorry,
say something?
thanks. Yes, go ahead.
Joseph, are you there?
Yes, boss.
So there are some questions I just want to ask. First of all, which tenant do you want to delete? Is it a developer's account?
Is it what? Sorry.
Is it a developer's account that you created that you want to delete?
Is a personal account that I created from the same Microsoft.
Like the personal account, is it like a trial version or a developer's account?
The free trial version that I'm using for practice.
So if you're using it for practice now, do you want to pay for subscription? Because if you're using it for practice and you've not used it for a long time, I feel the license would have expired if it's trial.
I noticed that they used to renew it every year. They might tell me it remains 99 days. After
No, that means there's still a mix-up. You're probably talking about the developer's account. So why I'm asking this, right, is you can actually delete a tenant, but you cannot delete what you don't have access to. Because everything he just showed you now, for you to do them, you need to have access to the tenant. So if you're trying to look for how to delete what you don't have access to, then it doesn't really connect. Because for you to take off your license, for you to remove your domain, you have to be logged into that tenant, right? So if you can't log into that tenant, you can't delete the tenant. Because if I can't log into something, that means if I cannot log into something and I can delete it, I can wake up and delete your own tenant. Because the security there's no sense in me deleting what I cannot access. So before you try everything he just showed you there, you first need to gain access. So if you're trying to delete it because you cannot gain access into it so that you create another one, then I don't think that's the way to solve the issue. Do you get? So, and from what you're saying, I don't think it's a trial version you're using. You're probably using a developer's account, because if you're using a trial version, there's no way they'll be renewing it for you. So you need to understand exactly what you're using. So if you're probably, from what you're saying, I guess you're probably using the developer's account, and the best way to solve it is, yeah. So you look for how to probably raise the support if you can get your password back. But if you cannot raise the support, I don't think that should stop you from learning. What you just need to do is probably, while you're trying to solve that, you can get a new Microsoft account and create a new developer's account so that you can continue learning. So don't hold on to something that has gone for a long time and you cannot get access to it. Just create a new Microsoft account, create a new developer's account, and then you continue. And if it's probably a trial version, I think by now your trial period is over and everything. You can't even use it again, except you want to pay. So I'm just telling you this because the whole process of deleting it, you can't really delete what you don't have access to.
Thank you. I understand. I understand.
Thank you. So I think Adekunle, do you have a question? Your hand is up.
Okay. Thank you so much. I was actually just going to build up on what Josh and Solomon has said. So
Okay.
I'm just going to be speaking to Joseph concerning this account lockout, whereby maybe you're unable to access your tenant and then you decide to delete it, maybe start off again. Well, I think at the point of creating a tenant, it's always good that you have like a break glass account. Now, this is not depending if it's a developer account or if you're now in a live environment. It's always advisable that you always have one special account that you can use as a break glass account in cases whereby maybe your original global admin is locked out. This other account, which would obviously be global admin, can always go in and then take out every other action. So for just like Solomon has said, everything that just listed to you can't be done if you're locked out. You have to be in before you can actually delete any subscription, any license, or take out any domains, custom domains, and the like. So it's always good in future practice as you go on with this that you know that even if you're setting up MFA and everything, you should also set up the right authentication methods. So you shouldn't only rely on one method as your MFA. You can also rely on text message and according to your license, set up other kind of authentication methods so they are not stuck with the app alone. Because this you've mentioned has been a regular ticket with the support system whereby you have users login ticket that they are signed out or they're locked out because they had to change their phones or they had to change their authentication devices. So it's always good to have other authentication models, modems like your phone text message or other push requests or push notifications. And then aside that goes back to the fact that it's not always good to have just one global admin on the tenant. I think from practice, from everyone on the call that has been into this, you would realize why we are preaching this. It's not always good to only have one global admin. For example, if the person gets locked out, or let's say the person leaves the organization or something and is the only global admin, this locks out every other person in that tenant from getting administrative rights. So in the future, as you go on with your new developer accounts and everything, make sure you have this break glass accounts kept somewhere. You could just create the account and then the password and just store it somewhere. You don't have to use it. It's just there for you in when you have emergency cases like this now. So had it been you had an account you could use to log in, saying as you already have MFA set up on this one, you would have been able to log in and then maybe delete every other subscription if it wasn't a developer account and the like. So please let's take this into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So does any other person have a question? Okay.
So there's no question. I just want to for me it's not a question. I just quickly want to say I don't know how many of us got the link to the cloud skill challenge that I sent to the community group on WhatsApp. So it just contains all of the list of the the modules we'll be sharing with you, but you can study ahead so that when you come into the session, you can share your experience even if you do not have any question. So I'll say that you're reading ahead of your uh, of your lecturers, I'll say, and then you can come in with questions. And the other part of it is that the challenge also, apart from getting an exam voucher, if you're top on the challenge, at least you can get a gift from me. So just to encourage you also to study ahead of time. So that's just what I don't know how many of us got that. If you did not, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please visit the WhatsApp group again. I can share the yeah. Again, I can share the link here. I don't know if I have it here. I'm not too sure. Yes, I can. So I can share the link on the call so that you can actually sign up for the Cloud Skill Challenge. It's more of all the topics we've been treating, and you find that the ones Joshua has been talking about here, you find it um, as part of the learning modules in the challenge. So I just want to encourage you guys to also attempt it and then ensure that you pick up faster before you join the call so that you can just ask us questions probably on your experience. Okay, so that would be my contribution.
I got it.
Yeah. Okay then. I have the link. I've shared the link on the chat window. Yuri, please over to you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Seems we don't have any further questions. I would urge us to please fill the feedback form. The link is on the chat as well. So thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Solomon. Thank you, MJ. Thanks, everyone, for joining the session today. Hope to see you again